5 months ago, if I was to tell you that Rich the Kid would be on a #1 song on the Billboard, you would look at me crazy. And I get why. I totally understand why you would think that. Because the highest point Rich the Kid ever hit on Billboard was, I think, number 13. And I believe it was Plug Walk. And that was back in like 2018. That was like 6 years ago. And yes, he had other entries on the Billboard charts over the years because he was still hot during that time, but it wasn't as high as Plug Walk was. I was a fan of Rich the Kid way back then when they used to call him the fourth Migo. They would always call him that and would wonder if this guy is in the Migos or not. When he had the Streets on Lock mixtape with the Migos, he was just with them all the time because they all had similar flows and similar cadences and would rap about the same stuff, and they would do the dab because that was popping back then too.
Dab!
And of course, Rich the Kid had his own mixtape and his own little fan base. He would consistently just drop. But the Migos was the ones that blew up first. They blew up around 2017, but 2016 was the year they really started to make some noise. And if you were a Migo fan around that time, you knew something big was gonna happen. You knew they were coming. And as for Rich the Kid, he just kept dropping music. He was happy for the Migos and happy for their success, but he wanted to focus more on his stuff. He just kept dropping mixtapes. He ended up signing Famous Dex and he ended up signing Jay Critch. And they all had their own fan base. With the Migos blowing up, getting all of this recognition and all of this fame, a lot of people are clowning Rich the Kid, thinking that the Migos left them, that he can't do anything without the Migos, he can't survive without them. But Rich the Kid has something up his sleeve. In early June of 2017, Rich the Kid announces that he was signed to Interscope Records. Rich the Kid said, quote, "Interscope gave me the opportunity to take over the game completely, and that's what I'm going to do." And that's one thing I liked about Rich the Kid even back then. He never really cared about what people thought about him, calling him the fourth Migos, you're not nothing without the Migos, or things of that nature. So when Rich the Kid released his first single on his debut studio album, The World Is Yours, a lot of people were in shock at the feature. It was the one and only Kendrick Lamar. And at this time, this was huge because Kendrick Lamar didn't do features like that at that time. He doesn't really do features like that these days, at least more than back then though. Because back then, Kendrick Lamar was not doing features. Kendrick Lamar was scorching hot at this time. It was a random feature for everybody because we wouldn't expect Kendrick to get on a feature with Rich the Kid because they make two different styles of music, and Kendrick Lamar wasn't doing features at that time, like I said. So it was kind of crazy. But Kendrick did his thing on there, man. Kendrick ripped that verse. And for Rich to even have that as a feature on his debut song, on his debut project, that's a massive W for Rich the Kid right there. And of course, a lot of people were hating, oh, he got lucky. That's going to be something you're going to hear throughout this video, that word lucky. Because a lot of people, yeah, you get the hint. He then released Plug Walk, which was his second single off of the album. And that song was very, very, very successful. And I believe that song at the time of this recording is 3 times platinum, I believe. So at this time, a lot of people gave respect to Rich the Kid. He can hold his own. He doesn't need the Migos to collab with him and be around him all the time. Even though they were still friends, they're still cool, even till this day. But he didn't necessarily need them. He had his own buzz, and it was his time to do his thing. People would see pictures of Rich the Kid with top legends and people with status like Lil Wayne and artists of that caliber. People would just be like, damn, this guy is so lucky. Like, how is he doing this? Like, yes, he has a hit or two or whatever the case is, but how is he in the rooms with these people? This guy is so lucky. And it's not even giving him props neither. It's people say that more on the hating side though, like he doesn't deserve to be with those people or things of that nature. And one thing about Rich the Kid, yes, he's not the best rapper ever or sells the most records or anything like that, but that man knows how to get into rooms that other people has never been in before or can't do. So that's one thing that's very valuable about Rich the Kid. And let's just say that skill of his helped him out in the long run. Because I do think it's important to have social skills and know how to talk to people and get into rooms and things of that nature. Even though Rich the Kid doesn't really talk proper or anything like that, he slurs, and a lot of people say, you know, the whole mumble rap conversation and stuff. I get it, But Rich the Kid is clearly doing something right. You gotta give it to him. And as years went by, Rich the Kid would drop single after single, album after album, and he wasn't doing too good. A lot of people saying he's fallen off, he fell off, he can't do no more hits anymore, he's irrelevant. Anything he drops, people weren't really rocking with it. It's the same flow, it's this and that. It was just all hate towards Rich the Kid. He was kind of becoming a meme at this point, especially with that situation with him and Uzi that added more hate towards him. It was just a lot of stuff. It was a lot of negative towards Rich the Kid throughout the years and stuff. So yeah. So on February 9th, 2024, Kanye West and Ty Dolla finally released their long-awaited, anticipated album, Vultures 1. And on track 12, Rich the Kid has the first verse on there. And a lot of people were wondering, how the hell did Rich the Kid get a feature on a Kanye West album? Man, Rich the Kid did his thing on that song, man. Kanye gave him the blessing by just giving him the first verse. And Rich the Kid's first verse on there set the tone for the whole song. As a matter of fact, part of his verse is the hook for the song. You know, the part where he said, "I done did the impossible." Yeah, that whole part is off of Rich the Kid's verse. And it's very catchy. But this right here just shows you how powerful Kanye West is. And if you just put great production and switch certain things up and add Rich the Kid on there, it'll do pretty good. You know, Rich the Kid, he still has his own style and his own cadence and his own flow. But one thing I hate what people do, they criticize artists for having the same flow, the same this, but when they switch their flow up, oh, they fell off, or they sound weird, or blah blah blah, go back to the old you. It's you can never win. So Rich the Kid just remained humble, just kept doing his thing for years, getting clowned, getting all of that. And now he's on a song with Kanye West, and it's a banger. And not saying Rich the Kid did anything really different like that. He still has the same flow and stuff like that. But, you know, all you need is that look. All you need is that extra help and that push. And, you know, you might have a chance. And clearly Rich the Kid is doing something right, like I said earlier. But one person that wasn't happy, or, you know, yeah, he wasn't happy. He wasn't too happy. It was Elliot Wilson. He follows me on Twitter, by the way. Just a shameless plug there. I just wanted to throw that in there again. But yeah, he wasn't too happy about that. He said, you know, that he's lucky, you know, things of that sort. And a lot of people are saying that on Twitter as well. Rich the Kid is lucky. How did he get this? It's like kind of like what I said earlier in the video, where I say he has a skill that can be used in the near future. It's a skill, just knowing how to get into rooms, knowing how to talk to people, being in the right places, right times, all of that. All that plays a huge part, and you will last in the industry if you have this type of skill. Because you can have all the talent in the world and be the most lyrical person, the most, you know, the best singer ever. But if you don't know how to talk to people and know how to get into rooms and know how to talk to people, your career won't go as far as you want it to go. Oh yeah, did I even mention that Rich the Kid even had a collab tape with Lil Wayne and NBA Youngboy? That's in his catalog too. And that was when NBA Youngboy was on fire. Because NBA Youngboy these days, he still has his fan base, but he's not really like as hot as he was back then. And NBA Youngboy don't collab with people like that. So for Rich the Kid to be able to collab with Lil Wayne and NBA Youngboy, like, that's crazy, man, to be honest. But yeah, back to Elliot Wilson and Rich the Kid. So Elliot Wilson pretty much said that Rich the Kid is like the luckiest dude in the world, on the planet. And Rich the Kid responded like, yo, like, how am I lucky? Like, they made the song from scratch. Like, hating is not cool. And I see what he means by that. It's like, bro, like, after this long, you just gotta give the guy credit, man. You can't just, oh, he's lucky, he's lucky, he's lucky, he's lucky. It's like, at a point, you have to give credit to the man that's in these positions and stuff. You know, he had the odds stacked against him, if you think about it, plenty of times. From the Migos blowing up before him, from him doing certain things by himself, and him signing certain people on his own, just doing a bunch of things on his own, taking a bunch of L's and coming back up. You got to give Rich the Kid some credit. Like, Rich the Kid's he's like a French Montana. Rich the Kid and French Montana are two people. I would put Soulja Boy in there too, because Soulja Boy always somehow finds a way to come back or get relevant somehow, whether it's a song, a mini hit, whatever it is. But them, all three of them, especially French Montana, he knows how to get into rooms and know how to talk to certain people, and he can come out with a hit, if it comes out, but he hasn't came out with a hit for a little bit now. But French Montana had a crazy run. But the point is, they know how to get into rooms, and they're doing something right, clearly, because the odds are stacked against them, clearly, because they're getting clowned and whatever all the time, but they somehow come out victorious. And from that Vultures One album, Carnival, the song with Rich the Kid, Playboi Carti, and Ty Dolla $ign and Ye, that song was the most streamed song on the album. And that song went #1 on Billboard, with Rich the Kid leading the song. And the hook is pretty much Rich the Kid's verse. So, yeah. So, that's a big middle finger to the haters and stuff from Rich the Kid. Rich the Kid just decided to just stay humble, mind his business, keep dropping. Yeah, he was getting clowned over the years. He's not the most lyrical person, but clearly he's doing something right. He's in these rooms. He's working. He's consistent. And now his stock is right back up. It's the highest it's ever been. This is his first #1 ever. So, gotta give him respect. And to have that skill to be on top, bigger than you ever was in your career, years and years later, that's definitely something I respect right there. With something like that, you'll always be relevant. You'll always find a way to bounce back. And of course, you gotta be good. You gotta be somewhat skillful and things like that. Of course, that plays a part as well. But with that skill, knowing how to do certain things like that and maneuver in the industry, you'll always be relevant. You'll never fall off completely. And that's why I think Rich the Kid will never fall off. It sounds crazy, but the real ones know exactly what I mean by that. And haters are gonna say, whoa, Kanye saved his career, blah, 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 da, da, da. It's like, I mean, I get why you guys are saying that, but, you got to give Rich the Kid his credit. And I'm sorry, you got to give that man his credit. So shout out to Rich the Kid, man. And if you got to the end of this video, give this video a thumbs up. Comment below if you think Kanye saved his career. If you think Rich the Kid is smart. If you think, whatever you think, just comment down below. Give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe for more videos like this. And yeah, I'm out.